All right. Welcome, everybody, to the South Star Classroom, episode 208 today. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll be joined here shortly by our co-host, Jubilee, who she'll be here soon. And I believe Mr. Yanar is out today, but he'll be back next week. And we are going to talk today about the future of education and robots.
Nice.
Something like that, maybe. We're going to get into it. But before we do that, I wanted to take a moment to do some check-ins. It feels like last week was, obviously only 7 days ago, but a lot's happened in the last 7 days. So wanted to see how you are doing, Dr. Charles Cole.
I'm good, man. I'm just working, just grinding, man, trying to run my company, keep it up, head above water. The Cubs almost made it to the we almost made it for the pennant, but it's okay. It's all good. But I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. Been trying to work out stuff. My back is killing me, but it's all good. It's a good pain, I guess. So how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We are similar to you, busy on the work front. Seems like this week and last week have been putting out a lot of fires, but that's all good. And we are we're hanging in there, man. It's all of a sudden, it's amazing. It's already the middle of October, and you see, and all the Halloween decorations are out, and it's like we're heading right into the holidays, man, whether you like it or not. It's happening. So
yeah, man, that's it is a lot, man. But time goes faster the older you get. So there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and now you're age shaming. That's good. Okay. I
don't know about that, but I got you.
Okay, let's hop in. We did our first show on AI. What was that? Last year or 2 years ago? Do you remember? Do you have a general time frame for that?
Bro, I don't remember what happened last week, brother. Apparently, you heard my check-in.
So we did a show on AI here. Actually, it's probably like 2 years ago now, thinking about it. And we go back to that show, and I didn't re-listen to it, but I remember we were talking about AI at a very like surface level. Like, how can students use it to do this and that, and the topic of like plagiarism, and we didn't really know what was gonna happen. And now we're seeing some very interesting developments in the world of AI. But before we do that, we are going to go back to the real world, and we are going to welcome our co-host Jubilee Ransom to the show. How are you, Jubilee?
I am doing wonderfully. Did you all do check-in today, or did you just jump into the topic? We're
doing it right now. We're doing it right now.
Look at Charles's smile. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that smile. Look how happy he is that we are doing check-in. Thank you, David. I appreciate you. I'm doing well. It's been a long day. It's already been a long week, and it's Tuesday. But here I am. I have boxes and bags everywhere. I just moved, and I'm still trying to figure out the best setting for lighting, for Wi-Fi. But here we are. Let's have a great show. Thank you.
How do you like your new spot?
I love it. It's 3 floors. It's natural lighting. It's all the things that I could ever want. And yeah, I am just dealing with the boxes and bags everywhere and reminding myself this is a process. It's a process. So that's it. But
Okay.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, just don't let that process drag on for too long. You're going to have to eventually unpack everything. Yeah. You're good.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So we were just reflecting on the show that we did. I think it was like maybe a year and a half ago on AI in school. And a lot has happened in between that show and today's show.
Mhm.
And I saw I've been seeing a couple of headlines over the last couple of weeks, and let me pull this up.
I can hear you. I'm just grabbing my coffee. I got you in the headphones.
Yeah, no,
so
you
keep
got
going.
no problem. And so the last thing that I saw, the last headline I saw a couple days ago is this new it's a private school network. It's kind of a loose network of private schools across the country. They're called Alpha School. Have you heard of Alpha School at all, Jubilee? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I said I have not.
Okay. All right. So it's a national network of schools, and they operate in California, Texas, Florida, Arizona. I think that's where they're at now. And it's a very interesting model. So students spend about 2 days of the school day working on core subjects through adaptive AI-driven software. Right? So instead of teachers, they use AI instruction to both present information, present content, and also do all of the assessment, work. There are guides, so they do actually have like physical human beings in these schools. They're called guides. They focus more on mentoring, motivation, and emotional well-being of students. Like, you've been on the computer for 2 hours, Johnny. How are you feeling right now? And then the remainder of the school day is spent on things like life skills, passion projects, and community activities, which I think is pretty cool. Here's the promise, and there's some interesting twists here. The founders of this network say that artificial intelligence allows each student to move at their own pace, right? We've heard that before with like blended learning, things like the Khan Academy. I mean, we can go on and on about every single platform that there is out there, but a lot of these platforms they've gotten like more personalized through the incorporation of AI technology. Students master concepts quickly without being held back by a one-size-fits-all classroom. Okay. The school claims its students achieve twice the academic progress of their peers in traditional schools. It's a pretty small data set. So, and I don't know if they're like disaggregating for like low-income students and this and that. I don't think they are. They credit adaptive algorithms that personalize content in real time. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. It's interesting because these schools operate kind of on a sliding scale, depending on where they're at. But the Alpha School, that's located in San Francisco, California, has an annual tuition of $75,000. Okay, $75K. So, and I think they have schools in like rural areas of Texas, which are much cheaper, but I mean, you're paying private school money, elite private school money for AI learning, right? You don't have teachers, you have guides. So I wanted to offer a couple of well, let's stop there. I asked Jubilee, Charles, have you heard of this program?
I've heard of Alpha before. I'm not super familiar with them though, but I have heard of them.
Okay. It's very interesting. I was doing a little bit of research into some of the promoters of this network and some of the funders of this network. And we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but y'all watch Candace Owens like in the last 2 weeks?
I haven't.
No,
because I'm not a Candace Owens fan, but
Candace Owens fans. Yeah.
People said that she kind of switched over and maybe started changing her tune. I don't know. Give me a reason.
She's been going at Israel a lot. I know, like especially with the Charlie Kirk stuff, and
Yeah,
they're starting to be more.
So it's very interesting
coming out about that.
So one of her big things was there was this quote unquote intervention that took place a week before Charlie Kirk was killed, right? At some place in the Hamptons, right? And the person that supposedly organized this intervention for Charlie, allegedly, to question his speaking out on Israel, was this gentleman Bill Ackman, right? So I did a little sleuthing, and it turns out that Bill Ackman is one of the largest funders of the Alpha School. So we've got a little bit of a real world connection there. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he got dough. They got money there.
Oh my God, they got so much money. It's crazy.
They got money.
They've got crazy money. So $75,000 price tag in San Francisco. In other areas, it's probably, I think the lowest is like 20 or 25, and it's everything in between across Texas, Arizona, what other state did I say that they're operating in? Florida, of course. So some of the critiques, one that I bring to the table when we talk about technology in schools is the human connection, right? There's nothing like learning from a real live teacher. I think for a lot of younger students too, you're not just learning from a teacher, but you have to see, you're learning how to read, you're learning how to, looking at the facial expressions of your teachers and how they enunciate words and how their mouths move and all of these things, right, that you just can't get from a computer. So there's this human connection thing, which I think is really interesting. We should get into. Also, like engaging one-to-one with other students, right? That's how students develop empathy, communication, confidence through dialogue, teamwork. And if kids are just learning on a computer, you lose a lot of that. Another critique is equity and access, right? So it's this AI-driven platform. But you think about like English learners, think about special education students, low-income students, and issues around access to this, what seems like, an elite form of education. There's definitely like a motivation engagement issue. I don't know. I mean, I was running a learning pod during the pandemic. I know Jubilee worked with your sons during the pandemic, and it's like, kids want real world engagement. And I mean, they'll sit on a computer for hours playing video games, but it has to do with, learning curriculum and content. You generally tend to see a pretty significant drop off in motivation. And then lastly, like for all of the faults of traditional classrooms and traditional education, I mean, I could speak to this from personal experience. One of the reasons we send our child to a traditional school, a large school, is for like the socialization element, right? So they learn how to be amongst their peers, learn how to deal with challenge, learn how to collaborate, learn how to interact with people that are not just their age, but older, the teachers and the administrators. So, I mean, those are a couple of critiques, but I would love to hear from you all. Like, what are your thoughts on this particular model? And it's not just this model. We'll get into it at another level. AI is coming to education, period, outside of what this private school network is offering. I think a recent poll said somewhere upwards of like 70% of teachers are using AI in classrooms right now to plan, to grade, to generate content. So like, what are your thoughts on this? Are we moving too fast, or are you all okay with this kind of experimentation? Remember, they used to call charter schools the experiment, right? But now we have a true experimental model.
I got a lot of thoughts, so I'll yield to Jude before I go on there.
I mean, I saw the price tag and I was like, 75,000, like, but I guess that's what happens when you're pioneering something. It's cutting edge, so it's going to be more costly to like launch. I don't know that we're going too fast. I think we as a nation are going too slow, honestly. when we look at, you know, what other nations are doing and where they are in technology and where we are. I think that COVID really brought that forth, that we were behind, because we had our babies, you know, in Detroit and in other places, right, without a damn laptop. Without a laptop in the year of our Lord 2020. You know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, I think we're behind. I don't think this is going too fast. I think at some point we need to get to a place where we welcome the change and figure out how to get ahead of it, or at least like work in partnership with it, especially if it's going to benefit our children. There isn't like a silver bullet. So it's like, yeah, it's just like everything else is going to have pros and cons. And if we go back decades, like when I started teaching, we still had chalkboards and chalk, which I still love the sound of, right? And then when smart boards came, it's like, we don't know how to use these things. Why we just can't use, you know, chalk paper? And why we just can't use the chalkboard? What would need the smart boards? And then it was like, oh my God, smart boards are so expensive. How are we going to get, it's $100,000 to get, you know? So it's the same, it's the same thing, right? It's just different iterations, right? This is new, this is cutting edge. If it's going to help our babies learn to read, write, and think critically, then I think we should definitely give it a shot. Of course, with conversations, I think humans are always going to be needed, even though this could actually wipe out the damn teaching force. But with all these damn humans we done had in the classroom, our NAEP scores every single 4 years come back like, still only 40-something% proficient, still over. And then when you get to our people, black and brown, still low. I'm just saying we should probably give it a shot. Just saying. And I'll give out the free hugs for the social emotional part.
That's funny.
Charles, how about you?
The question: are we moving too slow? Re-ask the question a little bit, because I know shit went into
given all this change and you know, thinking about, you know, this kind of, even though it's a private school model, very like not a big data set, not a lot of kids in this model, but you could see something like this growing very quickly, you know.
I got you. No, I got you.
And then and then just, I mean, even like the broader thing of like pushing AI into the larger education systems. I saw a recent data point. It said somewhere between 60 and 70% of teachers are using AI, right? For a number of things. I got you. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think, I mean, you know, I can tell how you feel about it.
I don't actually know how I feel about it.
Well, I think for one, I think it's here. I think the toothpaste is out the tube and there's no putting it back in. So I think we need to jump on board and like make sure it can work for us. I think, I mean, I'm writing up something now. I just did a whole training for parents around IEPs and 504 plans and showing them the difference of it. And I just thought of so many ways that AI could even help them with that. I think that it's about the ways in which you kind of get in there. I was talking to somebody and they were talking about the potential AI, and I was saying the importance of us to be there. And there was a white cat, and I was like, well, do you notice anything when you go like in the airport and wash your hands? Like when I go wash my hands at the airport, I got to turn my hand over so the thing sees this part of my hand instead of just this part, because we wasn't there at the beginning. So the water will come out if I just put, sometimes like half the time I won't get water if it's just the darker side of my hand, right? And what I'm saying is we got to be engaged now so that the people that we care about or that's germane to our communities, it works for them. I think it's there. As far as the $75,000 in alpha schools, I think it's fine. It's a private school. Like nobody's making anybody go there. So if you got the bread and that's what you want to do, then hey, by any means, like do your thing. I do think that it's cutting edge technology, and I think that you can't put that tube, you know, back into the. You can't put that toothpaste back into the tube. The other thing is I want to train our people how to utilize that stuff to their advantage now. Let me give you an example of what we're doing at Energy Converters with a charter school in East Oakland. We're in the middle of this awareness navigation duty unit. And we have our fellowship has just a class inside this charter school, which is why I appreciate charters, because I wouldn't be able to get a full class in a traditional school. But they are tasked this week. They learned about data. During data rounds that teachers do, and they also learn that their grade is not their level of proficiency in a class. So you can have an A in English, but be 3 grade levels behind. That's important because we told them, last year we did our report, and 75% of the young people that we surveyed in Oakland thought they were on reading level, when the data actually says 2 out of 10 of those kids are on reading level. So the kids this week are going to their English teachers and saying, I need to know if I'm reading on grade level or what grade I'm reading on. If I'm behind, I need a personalized plan to catch me up. If I'm proficient, how do I get to mastery? And then if I'm mastery, we call this the duty of being mastery. If you're mastery, then you have to ask the teacher who you can help tutor or partner with in your grade level, because if you've been blessed with that type of intelligence, you should be sharing it. It's a community. The next week, after they all do this, and if the teachers can't give them their scores in 2 weeks, then they are to go to that principal and let them know, because the principal is like, this is your job. You're supposed to know if your students are proficient or not and how far behind they are. So it's a beautiful plan. After that, the duty part is those 22 young people now have to teach their entire school of students how to also go and find out their level of proficiency in every single class, so they know. And we're making a pitch that in their updated report cards, that next to their grade is also a marker for proficiency, right? If they're proficient or behind or master or whatever the case is. Every student that we did this with wanted to know. I'm talking about AI because AI could help with that significantly. If a teacher was to give that level of information and data, and we could feed the appropriate things into an AI system with the appropriate prompts and say, what is a plan that I can do outside of school or on the weekends or in the summer that catches us up? And then the AI makes assessments for you that can track you in real time. That's a valuable game changer. That changes the face of education, and it also exposes bad teachers, because I got what you were saying, David. Nothing replaces the relationship and activity of an actual face-to-face teacher. But what if that shit is terrible? What if there's nothing happening? What if there's no learning? So I see the possibility in it, and I don't think it's something we can put our heads in the sand around. I know that was a long answer, but I wanted to give a very right now real world example of ways that I'm even thinking about. I'm thinking about just building a program myself and sending it out to people in a very manual way that gets them started.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and that's great. And now you've got me thinking, like, was it last week's show where let me reframe the question, because I think the work that you're doing, you said you're doing it at a high school, which, so you're using it as a resource for students to be able to do like research, right? Access information, process.
Well, and build plans for them. Like if we feed the appropriate stuff, but they can do self-assessments, or somebody will monitor it and somebody's overlooking and checking, but there's like everybody kind of has their own personal coach almost.
Yep. So I want to bring us back to like the early grades, the primary grades, right? Because like that use of AI in that context that you're talking about, Charles, makes all sense to me, right? But like, let's go back, because like what Jubilee was talking about earlier, like we're seeing, and I don't really know why California is patting itself on the back for its outcomes. It's like, yeah, California across the board had gains last year, but we are still at pre-pandemic. We are still below pre-pandemic levels, right? And so what I'm talking about specifically are the early grades, right? Where students are not, learning to read or doing math to make meaning, but they're learning the fundamentals of mathematics. They're learning the fundamentals of literacy to read. They're learning the fundamentals of like socialization and play and conflict, right? Of organization. Now that feels like so now I'm envisioning, a first grader, on some kind of an iPad, learning curriculum, right? In isolation from their peers, just like, poking buttons, getting a little, so let me give you this example. I don't know if I wrote it down, but this program, Alpha School, what they do is they offer, something called like it's like the equivalent of remember Class Dojo? Y'all remember Class Dojo? I know you do. Okay, good. They offer something to the equivalent of like alpha bucks, right? If you hit your certain learning targets, you get alpha bucks, right? Students are motivated by that. Sure, that wears away over time. You remember when the big craze was blended learning, and the first generation of online learning platforms, and there was a lot of pushback to say, like, you're basically, there's all these amazing platforms, but they're all being developed by white and Asian men, right? You need to bring in the voice of the students and the communities where these platforms are going to be kind of deployed, right? And so there was a big kind of ruckus and friction. And I think we're back there at the same place again, where we're talking AI is just another form of technology. It's a more advanced form of technology. And if you look at who's running these companies and who's the engineers that are doing this, like they're not from East Oakland. I'll tell you that. They're not from South San Antonio. They're not from the south side of Chicago. They're it's another disconnect. So what do you think about specifically the use of AI and AI adapted learning systems in like earlier primary grades? Let's focus there.
Do it, use it.
Yeah.
Get these babies reading. We can't afford for the babies to get up to third grade and not have their foundation strong. If we were as a nation doing that well, we wouldn't be in this predicament. And it's already happening. There's programs like iReady, iExcel. This software has that stuff in there right now. If I have a 5-year-old that's in kindergarten, right, or first grade, they'll take a baseline. The program will come up with kind of what Charles was talking about, like its own personalized program for that kid. The kid needs to work on segmentation. The kid needs to work on phonemic awareness. The kid needs to work on phonemes, whatever it is. And that's what it is for your 30 minutes. It's going to tell you, it's going to put it at your level. It's going to give you whatever level of remediation you need or acceleration for your 30 minutes, your hour, however long you're on there. It's going to give your parent a report, your teacher a report, so that those that are connected to you are also equipped with the information they need to be able to support you. So it's already happening, right? I think it can't do it all by itself, right? I think there still needs to be partnership with teachers and principals and all of that. But I think it could create a hell of a lot of advancement if we were to use it effectively.
So how does that shift the role of the teacher then? Right? Are we moving? Are you suggesting like moving away from like a credentialing system for teachers and more towards like the teacher as the guide as opposed to the teacher as the teacher?
Yeah, teacher as teacher and teacher as guide. I don't know that teachers will ever truly be replaced. I think yes, teacher as teacher, teacher as guide. But in this case, we're talking about AI. Look at the data. Like, to me, when we think about our workforce, our current workforce right now, where less and less folks are enrolling in teacher prep programs, right? I've been visiting schools. I have a school that has a bunch of Fed workers, people that transitioned, they're career changers. They did not go to school to teach. And even those that have gone to school for teaching still ain't get a good enough education to really go in there, especially in early childhood. It's actually the most challenging, right, of the entire K-12 spectrum is that early childhood, that 3K, pre-K, all the way to second grade. And that's where we lose them, right? Because then by the time you get to third grade, if you don't have your foundations down, it's going to be hard for you to really actually learn to read and do math, right? So if those interventions are really, pushed in early on, I think it can only help. Teacher as teacher, teacher as guide. Look at the data. Use it to inform what you're planning. Use it for your groupings, right? I don't think it erases the power of a teacher. I think it empowers the power of a teacher.
Yeah, I think
you've got a comment. You've got a comment. Jubilee nails it from Bill Conrad. There you go.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Toya.
There you go. I think Yeah, I'll push. I think I get the question that you pushing on it, David. I think it's a good pushback, but I think there's a lot more ways to look at it. I think it's already happening. I think you might end up having it happen more in the primary courses than you do in high school and middle school, because it's happening. It's not being called AI. It's called gamification. They're already on tablets. They're already on they in their hands. And so the beauty of this is that now, instead of holding up a whole class, or the whole class is behind, or doing like, if the three of us are, in the second grade or first grade, all three of us, and we're doing our own little work and lesson plan, all that good stuff. Jubilee might be ahead of us and does not have to be held back by the class. The game just allows her to keep going at her rate.
Why does Jubilee have to? Then why does she have to even show up to school? Why can't she?
Because it's not, you're not doing one thing the whole day. There's different subjects. There's different lessons, right? So like the same way you have recess, the same way we got music class, the same way we're going to sit and talk, or we're going to do story time. Like the day is still set up, but there's going to be silent work times or collaboration times, or there are ways where it's like, you know what, let's optimize these work groups because there's ways, you still have to be aware and build in the socialization pieces. I think that teaching needs to evolve. I think that it's like, and again, I'm not trying to shit on teachers, but I look at data way too much. To be like, well, let's just leave teachers be. Let's just leave them to their devices. No, right? I just did a whole podcast episode, and y'all check that out. I forgot to put the commercial up here, but Color Commentary with Dr. Cole every Thursday. On the Thursday's episode, even before you came up with this, I had already wrote that episode out, but I talked about what we're doing at that school, and that we have to have an agency movement. We have to have a movement where my education success and journey is not just fully dependent on a system that clearly does not rock with me and what I bring to it. And so there's always going to be a place in a room there, but I got to be able to have some power to do things on my own. And if a kid, and I've built out programs like this before, David and Jude, where it's like, your kid going to be on YouTube for 3 hours anyway. Hey, tell me to give you 15 minutes on this thing, and y'all watch it and then make them talk to you about it. Like, we have to start utilizing technology because it's here. It's not going anywhere. And I think that's how I get what you're saying, but I would just say, David, and we haven't disagreed on something in a long time. I don't even think we disagreeing. I think that I see the way that you're seeing it. I see the lens, right? And I see that perspective. I'm looking at it from like out here. Like, what are the things that we can do with this that's going to be of service to us? And if we don't get in the game, just like some of this other technology, and the fact that I can't wash my hands without doing a damn look like I'm doing a voodoo exorcism trying to get the water to come on in the bathroom at the airport. If we don't want our kids and our people further left out, then we gotta fucking be there. We have to be there. We gotta get in the game. We can't just be like, well, I don't like this. There were people that resisted the car for a long time. The only ones that held out with the horses is the Amish. That shit don't work, man. The world is moving forward with or without us. And shout out to the Amish.
The obligatory Amish reference. I love it.
Hey, listen, Sharif got a lot of Amish. He's in Philly, so he see a lot of the Amish. So he like, yo, I buy shit from them all the time because it works.
Yes,
it's incredible.
And they don't got pesticides and all sorts of other BS and the stuff they make.
And I'm making a joke, but I'm gonna pass the mic at this. I'm gonna land my plane. I'm making a joke about that, but the way that they lifted their game up, and maybe there will be some holdouts that don't do anything with AI, but maybe, just maybe, those people become master super teachers, and then maybe it is something different. But we have to start weeding out and making sure that our kids don't just keep getting the newest teachers, the worst teachers, the least committed teachers, the teachers that don't know how to deal with them, the teachers that is teaching the whole class 3 grade levels behind because they don't even know what grade level is. That shit got to die. It has to die, and AI might kill it.
And listen, I mean, this is coming from a parent whose son comes home every other day complaining about the classroom environment and culture in his math class with the first-year teacher, and how the teacher is constantly having to shut down the lesson because of behavior. Not the behavior of my son, but of other kids, right? And so I totally understand that. I get it. And I think this is good. But here's the other thing. And also, let's not forget, when I was principal, at Oakland Unity High School, we were a year zero pilot school with the Khan Academy long time ago, right? Like we were there in the beginning of blended learning, right? How can we take this math platform to help individualize and differentiate, not to replace the teacher? Kids had 2 math classes, right? We went from like the bottom, 10th percentile to like the 90th percentile in 2 years for 9th grade algebra in deep East Oakland, California, right? So I get it. I get it. What my concern is, and also, I mean, when I was principal at Urban Montessori Charter School in Oakland, they almost burnt the damn school down when I came up with the idea of putting iPads in our kindergarten primary classrooms. And they only had 3 apps. You could go on with 3 apps. And it was all tracked. We could monitor student usage. It was like a language app, and it was a numeracy app. It was very basic. Yep. Kids could get a technology break at the station over there. And they're like, oh my God, but we used the data. It helped. It wasn't our only data point, but, it helped teachers to, put plans together for their students, right? So I've been there. I've done it. I'm thinking about this now through like a much broader, and maybe like you said, what you say, the toothpaste is out of the tube or whatever. Just in general technology, and again, primarily for younger students. And I don't think we really understand what the long-term ramifications are for what's happened over the last really accelerating with COVID, the last like 10 years, right? And the use of technology and how, like, I get it. We can talk about literacy. I understand literacy scores or what they are. I think Bill made a good reference to it. 20% even in a, not so low income district in California. And that is what it is. And we need to do something different. I just don't know, like, I don't know if technology is it, I don't know. And I used to be one that would say like, yeah, we could definitely like find a technology solution and probably, have a classroom that was fully driven by technology. Right. And maybe maybe I'm just thinking about it differently. I'm thinking about like the power of socialization and what do we lose, when we bring too much technology in. Do we lose the ability to be human to human, right? Do we lose the ability to interact and engage with student to student, adult to adult, adult to student, student to adult? Yeah. That's the bigger, like, universal question I'm struggling with.
Yeah, I think we've already, unfortunately, I think we've already lost some of that as a society because of, technology. But I also think when you say like, what's the purpose of teachers and principals and all of that, it's like also to hold certain things sacred, and I think community is sacred, right? Gathering and connecting with other human beings, that's sacred, right? And so this is why you need strong leaders, right? Who are able to be aligned with this kind of stuff. It's like, no, this is a necessity. Yeah, we're going to have this AI thing or this robot or this technology or this software or whatever. And we're still going to have community circle. We're still going to gather. We're still going to have, symbolism. We're still going to have community celebrations. We're still going to talk about, morals, or not the 10 commandments in the classroom, but right. We're going to talk about ethics and integrity and kindness and fairness. And like, we still get to hold those things to be true, right? As educators, like we get to be gatekeepers of those things. And I don't think technology is it, because I don't think anything is it. I think it's a combination of things that could be it that are it, right? And so I think we as the human beings and that know better should definitely consider making sure that as this technology continues to increase in usage and influence and all of that, that we hold those things sacred. When I think about my own household, right? My kids come in, they're in the marching band practice right now. They live in the marching band practice. They come in the house yesterday. I'm like, look, it's time. I had dinner on the table. Let's go. I got to do that. I don't care. It's family time. It's dinner's on the table. Like, oh, they acted like they didn't want to come here. We sat here for 3 hours, cackling, joking, talking about school, talking about this, talking about that. Mommy, look at this video. Technology was still a part of it, but the whole point was human connection, and for us to be. So I think that's a human responsibility for us to keep those things as a part of education, right? Communication, human connection, all of that is still a part of it, while we also take the help, because we need it, from AI and whatever it can offer to ensure that our babies are on and above grade level. And lastly, something that Charles said earlier made me think about, this is going to blow our minds. Like the use of AI in all these different spaces, I think has already blown our mind and will continue to, because we are thinking in such like, finite ways. Like, let's think about the structure of grade levels, right? Like you're like, yo, what if I'm in 4th grade, but I'm reading on a 7th grade level? I got to stay down here with these jokers for another 4 periods. I got to stay down here with these jokers. Why I can't go to the 7th grade reading class? Right?
Because you can't. You're not supposed to. You're not the right age.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Some of these things we need to blow this shit up.
And in math, I might be on a 3rd grade level, and I need to do that. Like I can truly have an individualized education plan that operates. I want to take some time and address Nicole. Right? Yeah. Are we going to talk about how many mistakes AI makes? Again, respectfully, I think it's a similar way that I was looking at you, that I was mentioning when I was talking to you, David. Let me be very clear. We're not even in AI 1.0 land. This is the worst it's ever going to be. And mistakes are going to be there. Let's also talk about who makes mistakes.
Humans.
Let's talk about how many Black boys and Black girls have been misdiagnosed and taking a bunch of drugs that the pharmaceutical companies are making billions and billions of dollars on. Let's talk about a bunch of peers that we failed over and over and over again, right? On their assessments, and they're not teaching. Let's talk about the math teachers that don't know the math subject that they actually teaching. Let's talk about, we didn't have a teacher, so we put the gym teacher into the history class and was like, go teach this history now. Like, I mean, if we're going to talk about mistakes, we can talk about it. But also, I'm not just talking about AI like ChatGPT, ask it a question and it answers it. I'm talking about the automating of the academic system and constantly doing analysis that's backed up by human beings that is checking and double checking that analysis.
Yeah.
Every question that we're asking and bringing up right now, if you can go back and find media when the telephone became a thing, when the TV became a thing, when calculators, there are people that are probably watching this show that was around and were students before calculators, when calculators got introduced, and then after calculators, right? Like, I remember when those little nerdy kids had the Texas Instrument TI, whatever, like calculators, and those things were kind of banned in certain rooms because the teachers didn't understand it. And well, not that. Remember the T ones, like the scientific ones, right? The graphic ones, right? So what I'm saying is, when I say that the toothpaste is already out the tube, it's not even I think it's the wrong question, respectfully, David. I think you put together a great show. I'm not shitting on the question. What I'm saying is, it's not should AI come, or it's here. It's gonna be here. This shit is here. And the question is, how do we get involved now to make sure that we're not leaving our kids at the whim of a ChatGPT large learning model? And that's the other thing. People don't really know what AI is. ChatGPT is a form of AI. It is a large language model. That's, you know what I'm saying? And what that is, it just knows all the words and how they fit together and can do those things. AI has been in other things that you do. It's just when you automating these processes and going out and grabbing things or whatever. It's a very scary thing and a dangerous thing, absolutely, for sure. The same way when a Ford Mustang got built as well. Like when they were like, oh, this is not the Model T. This is not, we gonna crank this thing and we about to go 35 miles an hour down the road. That damn thing goes 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. So what I'm saying is, right, we can't be afraid as a community, because us not participating and getting in now and advocating now and learning and growing with this thing, I promise you there will be winners and losers when this thing comes out. I promise you. And I just think that we can't run from it and duck from it. We have to like embrace and make sure that we are able to be players in it.
So how do we do that? Because I talked about this earlier, like when the first wave of tech blended learning tools came out, remember there's a lot of pushback from call them communities of color, to say like, hey, you've developed all these like fancy apps that do everything from everything from the Khan Academy to Class Dojo to this or that, whatever, but you developed them in a vacuum, void of voices, perspectives of communities where these tools and platforms are going to be utilized, right? And so we're back again at square one with AI. So when you say get on board, like how do we do that? And we know that the Trump administration is essentially like greenlit all of this, like fast track, right? And so how do we do that? Because
Trump won't be here forever, right? There will be a new administration, right? But I mean, again, I think this industry is not as closed off as some of the other things. All right. Like I just said, I am Charles me. I'm going to sit here and build out prompts and commands and give information and teach people how to do these things step by step. I don't have to wait. And honestly, I'm not thinking about everybody in the world when I build mine. So I don't think everybody in the world to think about me when they build theirs. Like when you asked about Alpha, I would have a lot of different thoughts in my mind about Alpha if it was a public school, meaning traditional or charter. When you say private, I don't give a fuck what they do. Like they can do whatever they want. Right. Like that's their business.
I mean, of course, I agree with you. But I mean, these tools and these platforms are making their way into our large public school districts, and large charter systems. So I'm wondering, like, I mean, I don't know about the average American public school district board and superintendent. Like, do they have the tools to be able to like?
They don't even know the science of reading yet. Like, listen, man. Again, you keep holding.
I gotta ask. I have to ask
because we keep asking these questions as if the alternatives are doing these things and getting it right. Look, man. Right. We're about to enter a new wild, wild west. It's about to be a lot of pillaging and stuff happening. I'm just telling you. Like it's gonna be wild in the beginning, but it's here. It's here and it's gonna settle. Let me just finish the point. All I would just say is this, right? Get involved in the process as much as you can. Be a part of your local school board, be a part of your school's board on that stuff. Make sure you're asking questions and being vigilant. But what I'm saying is there are smart people in the Mexican community. There are smart people in the Black community. There are smart people in the Italian community. What I'm saying is like, start building the stuff, like start doing that stuff. And like, I'm not of this mind of begging people that don't know my culture, don't know me, don't know what we try to do. It's fucked up when they do try to include me. So don't we need to be doing, David, what I would say is getting our people in that field now, pushing our kids in that direction so they can be the makers and the tinkerers and pour into your students, David, so they got a good moral compass, so they think about people in a different type of way. But like, that's what we should be a part of the means of production of it. That's all that I'm saying. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I get that. No, I get that. I get that. Yeah.
Because it's here.
Jubilee.
Like again,
yeah, it's here. No, it's here. Yeah.
It is here. No, I agree with Charles. I think, it's got me thinking about all of the different developments around STEM and STEAM education. Right. But it's not necessarily been to be forerunners. It's always been like, okay, this little piece of lands right here. You guys learn how to do the binaries, zeros and ones, the coding. Like, we want more girls to be able to do coding and use it to like change the color of the lights, cute things like that. But it's not been for stuff that's like, no, we want you to be pioneers in this. We want you to understand that whatever your mind can conceive, right, we can build something to accommodate that, And so I agree with Charles in terms of like getting ahead of it, becoming a part of it, but also let us be reminded of what the hell just happened in our nation with the shift from Fontes and Pinnell and Lucy Calkins, right? On over to Science of the Reading. How about we pay attention and not just think that something's a silver bullet and go trust somebody else's research and trust what somebody else is going to be like, AI is the savior. Yes, finally this will work. No, right? Let us ensure that we are putting forth our desires based on the research, based on the data. This is what we need over here in this district. Now, I don't know what y'all do over there in Wyoming, but over here in Detroit, over here in Brooklyn, over here, like, this is what we need based on the data. Can you give us stuff that helps our babies be able to do this, right? And teach them how to do this and build this and think this way. And let us not forget the importance of being able to speak. That's the other part that gets left out with AI, right? We get questions answered. We're doing things that are on or above grade level.
Yeah.
And we talk about right? Are we synthesizing the information, and are we able to state, right, in no uncertain terms what we have learned, right? Are we speakers and writers as well as listeners and thinkers and readers and mathematicians, all of that?
And you don't have to stop being a learner. Like, it's easy to be a lifelong learner. Let me give you an example, right? Let's say me and David are starting a company in Brazil, and we got invited to build an office in Brazil. All three of us, right? And then, like, because Duolingo is already AI. Duolingo is already a thing. But now let's say an enhanced version. Maybe it takes our profile. Okay, Charles is a black guy, English speaker, whatever. Oh, Jubilee is an East Coast woman, speaker. Oh, but David already speaks Spanish and English. So hey, Portuguese and Spanish are really close. So the lessons of where we're gonna start David is gonna be very different than where I'm going to start Jubilee and Charles. You see, like it's going to open up things in a very different way. And that's what I'm saying. Right now, all of our questions are being very reactionary because it's only the model of AI that we've seen. The new earbuds, these are the new Apple earbuds. You know what they have in it? They have live translation. They have live translation. So if I'm in a direct conversation with somebody that speaks French, like it picks up, it knows that I'm doing that, and as that person's speaking, it is also dictating this thing in my ear.
That's crazy.
AI is here. That's just one example, right? Like I seen one of the commercials that Apple did was very, very smart. I don't know if it was like a Italian family, but it's like the grandmama in the old country, has not got a chance to see her great grandchild, and her child is about to graduate. And she's able to FaceTime with him, and they got live translation on the screen, and she's just crying because she's never been able to talk.
Understand them,
She only speaks Italian. She can't speak English. And this is the first time she got to communicate without a translator, without, she's talking direct. All I'm saying is, listen, be aware, be weary. There are so many ways that this could be taken advantage of and things can go wrong. I'm not denying any of that. You got to keep your head on the swivel. Listen, we do a show for Black and brown people. Are we acting like we don't know how to keep our head on the swivel? Are we acting we don't know how to walk down a fucking alley? Like, all three of us know if we in a different hood and it's like, yo, I can be like, David, you in Chicago. He'd be like, well, just because I'm Mexican, they Mexican. Well, that's a different Mexican. I need to know where I'm at. Yo, Jubilee is like, I'm from New York, but is she in LA? Like, she's like, yo, I got to move differently. We got to be aware. But we got to stop coming from this shit from a deficit model. We got to stop coming from this of like this shit is just ready to victimize us. Get in there now. Absolutely. Get in there now and help shape it be what it's going to be. And when foul shit happens, you call it out. Like, we got to start being creative and build it. And we ain't even let these kids have it yet. We ain't even let the most innovative, creative group of people on the planet who are becoming 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. David's kids are a part of that. Jubilee's kids are a part of that. Wait till they get it. Wait till they not seeing color asses and we love everybody and every race and every gender and it's 30. Wait till they get their hands on it and create something new. Man. I don't know. It could be a very beautiful future if we go in with the right mindset. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I'm moving to the mountains tomorrow, and I'm getting rid of all my technology. I'm only going to take my turntable and my D'Angelo records. Right, that's all.
R.I.P. D'Angelo, man. And, their kid lost both their mom and dad. I mean, Angie died. What was it this year? Angie died. Angie Stone.
Yeah.
They had a kid. It's so sad, man. You guys go get checked out.
I was thinking about, like, I mean, not to go on a
cancer
tangent,
sucks,
but,
man.
Like, his music was so like analog and like human and like, and now we're having this conversation about
R.I.P. Jay Dilla.
I don't want us to lose our like humanity. I don't want us to lose like our authenticity as like human beings. And
I get that.
So that's kind of where some of my pushback on. And I love technology. I mean, I've always loved it, but I think my takeaway from this conversation, and we can move into closing thoughts, is it feels like there's an opening here and I agree with you. Like, it's here, it's not going away. It's going to continue to accelerate, but it feels like there's an action item here for any organization that works with parents in an advocacy sense or education sense to like make sure that parents are on board, not on board, but like aware. And do they understand, like we did with, you know, parents and social media, right? A lot of social media education with parents. And now it's like, I wonder if like, if there's like AI education happening with parents from like the local small city-based parent groups to like the larger, you know, regional PTAs, and like, is that happening? I don't know, but it seems like my big takeaway from this conversation is like, you know, we got to make sure that parents are on board too, you know, as well. So they also don't get left behind. So
I agree, man.
That's my takeaway.
Yeah. Mine is, look, this is an opportunity for acceleration without the roadblocks. Like, I think it was it, I forget which one of you made the example about whoever wouldn't sit down in the classroom, or, oh, you were talking about your son, or the teacher spent all this time with management trying to get kids to sit down, listen, you know, and it's just like, yeah, well, this provides the opportunity to kind of take a straight shot and get to the point without all these other things, you know, taking place. So that means that we have increased instructional time, and we all know what happens, right? That there's only positive things that happen when you increase effective instructional time, right? For a child, right? For a student, right? So I think that's one. And a few years back, I wrote a song, right? Or I told my vocal coach at the time that I had written songs, and I sent them into the Library of Congress to copyright them. And she was like, well, where are the songs now? I said, well, I put them in my cabinet. And she's like, so you out of fear, you went to protect your songs, which I get. You went to protect them, but you never used them, right? And so to the people that's watching, is like, I feel like it's the same thing that we do every time there's something on the new frontier or something new. We respond in fear, right? You have colleges and schools that make different laws and stipulations and how to identify if students are cheating, plagiarism, suspend them, expel them, all the laws and different things. Just get away, it's evil, versus jumping in there, figuring out how to leverage this for the benefit and the betterment, you know, of our children, of our students, of our future, right? So it's like, don't stuff it in a closet. We have an opportunity, like, this is a precipice. We have an opportunity to get ahead of it and make sure that our children are getting the best from it. So why not? Don't just copyright it and stuff it in a damn dresser drawer.
My final thought, I mean, is you know, be on the cutting edge of it, like build it and be ready to fight. Like, again, we keep talking as if like people just gonna walk over and just open it up and hand it. Power doesn't seed itself. And be innovative. Think, be creative. Think of new ways and things of ways that this can work. You know, I'm somebody I love traveling the world. I want to be able to communicate in the places that I'm at, and there are tools that are allowing for that now. You know, hi mommy. There you go. Yes, this is doing right. You know. Hey, Mama Jubilee, how you doing? We only do the show with your daughter, so you come in and we can say hi to you all the time. It's so good to see you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's why we do it, right? And I think we have to really figure out, like, again, we just come from this scarcity mindset so much and so fearful. And again, that's a conversation we should have been having 10 years ago, because this shit is here. It's here, and it's only going to get faster and better and different. And it's only the bad people are going to do bad things, and the good people are going to do good things. You can't stop that. Ginsu knives are a beautiful thing, and you can use it to fillet some really fine salmon and fish, or you can cut somebody's head off. Like, these tools are here though. And that's so all I'm saying is, I just want to see more Ginsu chefs. And we got to build safeguards. You have to build those things. And now, if we had a conversation on how to make it safer, of how to like protect, how to be thinking like that conversation, I'm so 1000% on everything you're saying, David. And where my mindset is like, oh, how do we safeguard this? How do we make sure? How do we put these things in there? You know, but it's, again, I think part of this is asking the right questions. And for us, for the three of us, the four of us, the people that watch us, we really got to be in this game, because right now it's a white boy party, baby, and they out here living it up, and they gonna do what they gonna do for them. And I'm not even mad. My thing is, like, people, stop expecting people that's not of you to care for you. Stop expecting people that don't know you to, like, put you at the head of the table, because we know what that looks like. It's a false sense of this white liberalism that y'all have gotten used to. I wish I should have did an episode on Ezra Klein and Ta-Nehisi Coates' conversation. And because they're friends, and I don't know if y'all watched it, but Ezra, and I told people, don't just say that Ta-Nehisi killed Ezra in the debate, which he did. But I said, listen to Ezra, because to these white liberals, Ezra is him. He is that dude. And when he says that we went too far here and that we went over here and we went a little too pro-black or pro this or pro that, and we got to move back to this, you need to listen to him, because he's telling you how those people are thinking. And I don't get upset. People are thinking how they think, like, but act like you've been in a fight before. In a fight, you throw a punch and they throw a punch. It's not just us getting a punch, and it shouldn't just be them punching us. And I'm not trying to make it combative. All I'm saying is that we got to get in the game and stop acting like people gonna welcome us in the door. Kick that shit down. Our ancestors did, and we love disrespecting our ancestors. I love people always got these shirts in my community, David, talking about I'm not my ancestors. Well, I think it's the most disrespectful shit ever, because you can march. Ain't no bulldogs out there with you marching right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit is different. And so anyway, I'm having, in the spirit of Omar not being here, that was a cold man, but I'm gonna land my plane there. We love you, Omar, and you'll be back. He'll be back hopefully next week or the week after. But I'm gonna give it to David and shut up. I'm sorry for not being fully. I'm just in it because I think it's such a great topic. It's so big, and I'm trying to capture its vastness. But between the questions you had, David and Nicole, I thought they were really thoughtful and good questions. And I think it deserves for me to like dive into and have and converse with. So my bad.
Yeah, well, I appreciate both of you for diving in. I didn't know where this conversation was going to go, but I think, you know, again, my takeaway is like there's like this parent and community, like this is what we can control, and we shouldn't run away from it, and we should lean into it, and like the opportunity that sits in front of us to you know, not just parents of you know, children, parents who have kids in schools, but like just, you know, even just community at the broader level, right? And making sure that like we own that part of like, you know, providing that education, you know, and bringing people along, because it's here. So I went from not knowing what was going to happen to deciding I was going to pack up my bags and move to the mountains. And now I've landed at, I'm going to make an appointment with Neuralink tomorrow. Inserted. And thanks everybody for joining us today. Episode 208, South Star Classroom. We will see you all back next week.
Peace.
Peace out.